Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's been such a long time, but I am finally back. We're back at it with a reflection of 2022 and a goal setting session for 2023. So starting with my yearly goals from 2022, let's go back, let's reflect, see what I've achieved, see what I can do better and see what I've learned along the way. So last year for my goals, I categorised them based on career, creativity, YouTube/social media, random, travel, financial and reading goals. So this time last year I was about to start a graduate scheme and that was like one of my goals and one of the things that I wanted to focus on for that year. And I have just finished my time on this graduate placement and I'm now moving into a new role, which I'll talk about a little bit more in the 2023 goals section. So then my next goal was to have a good work-life balance, and I feel like I achieved this pretty well. The other aspect of this little goal was to have a life. I wanted to make sure that I went out, I wanted to make sure that I did some fun activities and that I would create some fun memories. And I do think that I achieved that. There was a little bit of the year that was a little bit dull or like a little bit of a dip. But I think that's bound to happen. The final goal in my career goals was to have a better idea of my next steps. Definitely still a journey, but I feel slightly more stable now, even though it's still something that I think about a lot. But compared to where I was last year, I've made a lot of progress. I really wanted creativity to be a focus for 2022, and while it was, I didn't execute most of the plans that I had. So the things on my list were to try punch needling, which I didn't do. I wanted to try paint pens, which I did do at the very start of the year and then again towards the end. I wanted to try candle making, which didn't happen. I wanted to try oil pastels, which I did do. I wanted to work on more crochet projects, which I definitely did do. I would say crochet has been my main source of creativity this past year. Back in March I fundraised for Marie Curie and that definitely is a highlight. I wanted to take art classes, which I didn't do, and I also wanted to finish my sketchbook, which I'm really close to doing, but I didn't quite finish it. So then the next category was YouTube and social media. I've ticked off virtually nothing from this list. I wanted to post more consistently. I started off the year really strongly with posting consistently on YouTube, and then it kind of went downhill halfway through the year. I also wanted to reach 1,000 subscribers and 1,000 watch hours. And then finally I wanted to hit 1,000 TikTok followers, which also didn't happen, but I can only blame myself for that because I've been super inconsistent over the past year with TikTok. The lesson that I'm getting from here is that I need to work on my consistency. So every year I do a little playlist. So this one was called 2022 Sounds Like Playlist, and then that was just a compilation of songs that I've been listening to and new songs that I found in 2022 and really enjoyed. I wanted to take up more riding lessons. I think in my head I was going to take them a little bit more consistently, but I still ticked it off because I have had a couple of riding lessons this year. And then I wanted to try as many new things as I could, and I wanted to enter 2023 feeling like I've made the most of 2022, and I can confidently say that I feel like I've done so. I remember this time last year I felt very deflated because I had felt that I didn't do anything in 2021. And then moving on to my travel goals, I'm also happy to say that I ticked all of these off my list. To visit at least 3 new places in England. So I went to Stratford-upon-Avon, Liverpool, Streatley and Goring, or Goring and Streatley, which is 2 tiny little villages in Berkshire. A not so exciting one is Coventry, and then Leamington Spa. So that's more than 3 new places in England. There's probably a few others that I've missed off the list. I also wanted to visit my grandparents in France, which I did in September. The next goal was quite similar, and that was to visit my family in Greece, which I'm doing at the moment. And then the final one was to visit Wales, which I did in May. And My Wales trip, so I did my Wales trip with my brother and we summited Snowdon, which was an absolute highlight of the year. It was such a big challenge, both mentally and physically for me. I've never done such a long hike before, and the weather was really bad, and mentally I really had to push myself to get it done. It's definitely one of my proudest achievements this year. And then financial goals, I wanted to have 5 figures in savings, which I did. And then I had a little bit of a reading list. I had 4 books on that list. I didn't read a single one, but I did read one of my favourite books ever in this year, and that is Your Head is a Houseboat. I'm gonna move on to the goals for 2023. So this time around I've got more categories and a lot more goals. I've got big life changes, career, YouTube/social media, life, mind, creativity, travel, financial, fitness and education. So significantly more goals and more categories for goals, and also each category has more goals. As I previously mentioned, I have a new job and that is that I'm going to be a research and development engineer in the medical field, which is what I studied for. The second big life change that is happening alongside with this goal is that I have to move for this job, and I am moving to Sweden. I want to maintain good work-life balance, so the same as last year I guess. I just want to keep that up and have some good separation between my working life and my life. So I would also like to pick up a couple of editing and photography gigs, and then the other career goal is to focus on social media growth. I want to post 2 videos per week on YouTube, and this is going to be a struggle. I also want to hit the monetization requirements for YouTube this year, which is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, but I would like to hit this goal by the end of Q1 or the beginning of Q2. So in January I want to do a TikTok challenge where I post 1 TikTok every single day. Then I want to post a minimum of 3 videos a week after that. Something that I really want to work on is personal branding. I want to also start using my Instagram the same way that I use YouTube and TikTok. So I want to post more reels, and I want to post more consistently to my feed and my stories. To achieve all of this, it would definitely be important for me to establish a strong routine when it comes to content creation. I want to really dig deep into the strategy behind content creation, but also the more creative element when it comes to storytelling, and I want to learn more about creative writing, because I do think that that is where I'm lacking at the moment. I want to learn to use Pinterest to my advantage, and then the last thing is that I want to look into the idea of starting a blog or a website. So I'm not sure how I feel about this, which is why I'm not saying I want to start blogging. I want to do research and really think about it. I'm gonna have monthly meetings with one of my friends to hold each other accountable for our goals. It's just going to be a specific call where we can sit down and discuss what we've been learning and what we've been doing. We can exchange notes on our common goals, and then we can give each other ideas on how to progress and some feedback. Sort of like a mastermind, I think, but just the 2 of us. As I'm moving, I sort of fear that I am going to slip back on my friendships, not intentionally and not in a bad way. It's just I'm not very good at keeping in touch with people. So I think that if I set myself a goal to have at least 1 call per week with someone that I haven't spoken to either in a while or haven't called in a while, just to catch up and chat. Now I want to transfer a couple of goals from last year to this year and just do the same thing basically. So I want to try as many new things as I can in 2023, and then I am also going to do my playlist. I think I am going to call it 2023 soundtrack this year, but we'll see. It's up for debate still. So I want to work towards having an inbox 0. I want to try Project 50, which is sort of like a wellness challenge. I want to join some sort of club or a group hobby, something that will allow me to get out and meet new people while I'm in Sweden. I would like to try 2 new recipes each month. That might not sound like a lot, but by the end of the year, that's 24 new meals. I also want to do a 12 random deep dives. So an example that I can bring up for that is I want to do a deep dive on the Northern Lights. I would like to learn more about the physics behind it, also from a cultural perspective. I want to get back into journaling because that's something that I used to be very heavy on and very on top of. So I want to look for inspiration in casual things, and this I guess means me being more mindful and aware of my surroundings. I want to recognise when I'm not feeling great and do something about it, recognise it, just basically don't bottle up the feeling. But let's move on to creativity. I've moved stuff from last year onto this list. I want to try punch needling, I want to try candle making, and a new one is that I want to try lino printing. I want to take a sketchbook out with me on days and just sketch or paint. I actually already have a sketchbook dedicated for this that I'll be starting in the new year. And I just really like the idea of traveling, or like not even just traveling, like going out for a walk and just taking a sketchbook with you and sketching what you see. I've seen so many people do this in museums and in like botanical gardens. I want to do one self-portrait photo shoot every month, and this is going to challenge me both creatively, but also I'm hoping it will give me a little bit more self-confidence, and if I miss a month then I'll just have to make it up the next month. I also want to get back into scrapbooking. I love scrapbooking, but my issue is that I scrapbook retrospectively and I would like to do it as I go along. So obviously I said that I'm moving to Sweden, and I would definitely like to use that as an opportunity to travel the country. I'll be spending a month in Thailand, and that will be in February. This has been a goal of mine literally for years. Moving on, I want to visit my grandparents in France again. I want to visit my family in Greece again. I also want to visit Denmark. I want to do 2 backpacking trips outside of Europe. Anyway, so I want to visit 3 new European countries. That doesn't include Sweden. I just really want to focus on travel this year. I want to learn more about finances. It's an area that I know nothing about, so I want to become more financially literate. I want to learn enough about investing that by the end of the year I would be comfortable in starting to make an investment portfolio. I want to improve my fitness levels this year. I want to go on at least 1 hike every month. This isn't an average of one, like it's not 12 hikes, it's at least 1 every month. By the end of next year I want to be able to run a 10k run, preferably in 60 minutes. I also want to work on my flexibility and get to how flexible I used to be. And then the final thing is that I really want to work on posture exercises. It's something that I've been focused on the past few months. I haven't made a reading category, but I do have a book that I want to read, and that is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. I want to learn more about art history and culture. It's something that really fascinates me. But I'm thinking like I want to visit quite a few museums, art galleries and stuff like that, and exhibitions. I would really like to do my research before going. So if you guys watched a few videos, you know that I've been trying to get back into French. I want to reach C1 level, potentially even C2, but we'll start with C1. Got some work to do, especially since French is going to take the back seat for a while because I really need to focus on learning Swedish. I want to reach level B2 of Swedish by the end of the year. In theory, by the end of the year, I should be able to speak good enough Swedish. I think it's important to know that I'm not going to do these all in one go. Like tomorrow is January 1st, I'm going to do work on all of these. That's not how it's going to happen. There's going to be priorities, there's going to be goals that are more focused at the start of the year, and then as I move on, won't be relevant anymore. There's going to be goals that are consistent all year round, and there's going to be goals that are more relevant towards the end of the year. If you would like to see how I plan on actually making these goals my reality, then subscribe, because my next video will be on how I actually plan on doing so and my full strategy for how I'm going to achieve my goals in 2023.